at Cigar Paradise in St. Pete, downtown St. Pete, not St. Pete Beach. It's a totally different spot. My buddy Derek Caluste is with me. Any of you from Gloucester know Derek Caluste very well. And we are going to be smoking some of their signature cigars. And we are going to talk a little bit about cigar bar culture. We are also going to talk about a regular old podcast like we normally do. So we got that going for us, which is nice.
Good morning, Gloucester.
Oh, look at that. My beautiful wife, Kate, is with us.
Kate, baby.
Good morning, Kate.
Oh, Kate, how you doing?
Love you, baby. Yeah, Kate has some exciting news to share. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Wow, we got a good number of people already joining us. Anybody that's joining us, say hi because we'd love to hear from you. So let's get ready to it. I got here yesterday.
Crazy day. I haven't seen Joe in a long time. But when he comes in, I always try to show him a good time. We started off pretty early. Lots of cigars when Joey comes in. I'm not sure you all know that kid when he Gloucester, but this kid smokes more cigars than who's the guy that's run Cuba? Who's the guy?
Fidel Castro.
Castro. I think they're brothers because this guy smokes so many cigars. But anyways, yesterday he came in. You met me at work. I took a half day. I had to put PTO time in. 12 o'clock.
What's PTO stand for?
Personal time off. Personal time off. But so I put PTO time in, and we went to a great restaurant. Remember the name of the restaurant?
Obi and Ave.
Not even.
I got that. We're back. Oh, God. We're doing it from the cell phone, so it's a little tricky. How's the audio, by the way? We're back.
Yeah, last time I was on this thing, there was no sound for the first 5 minutes. And it was the best show he's ever done.
Yeah, because those can hear it. Yeah, oh wow, we got someone from Jakarta, Indonesia. Yeah, we're back. But this is one of the more modern. This is probably one of the most unique cigar lounges I've ever been to. These completely modern, tremendous air handlers here, and stuff. Are you the guy?
I am the guy.
Cody. Cody, come right over here.
We're live. Come on in.
Yeah, come right over here. Cody is the manager here. So the social media, I see Cuban Cigar Paradiso, or Paradise, Cigar Paradise. What is the official title of this place?
So this title that they're moving towards is we're all going to be Cigar Paradise.
Sure.
There's going to be a different variation. So I am the COO of all properties. So I run all of them to the owner's specifications of what he would like to execute and make sure that he's going to be different than every other owner. So we just started transitioning to Cuban Paradise is going to be eventually remodeled with Mat Club and turned into one, and that will be called Cigar Paradise, but another edition. So this one is Royal Lounge on Beach Drive. The one in Sarasota is going to be Cigar Paradise, St. Armor Circle, but then boutique. And then the one in the one in Madeira Beach will be Cigar Paradise. And we came up with another thing because we want to keep the identity because that one's been there since 2009.
Oh wow!
So that one we still kind of want to keep the Cuban Paradise name, but with the word Cuban brings a lot of stipulations so you can't put it in.
Oh really?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, we were talking, like the air handling here is fantastic. You know, we go to a lot of cigar lounges. This is one of the more unique places because it's very sleek and modern. Mm-hmm. And we really like that. Actually, Vincente's of London in Naples is very sleek and modern as well, I would say. so that's another place kind of in that same vibe. But it's very high ceilings here, a lot of light coming from the street, and a lot of foot traffic. You have tables outside. And how long have you been in the cigar industry, personally?
Personally, I started with him. That was the first time for probably about a little bit over 2 years.
Are you a cigar smoker?
I am.
You are.
I am.
And what type of cigars do you lean towards?
I'm more of a Maduro fan. I like a more of a medium, full body. I also like Rojo. I mean, it just depends on my mood, what I'm into. But I'm not a Connecticut fan as much. That's just too light for me.
Right.
My background is food and beverage, so I'm mostly in the liquor world. So I drink everything by itself. So I like to be able to get the real flavor. And I think more flavor comes with more characteristics.
Yeah. Sometimes
Connecticut shade can't give you everything that you want at those characteristics, but if you bring in a perfectly good hand rolled cigar, especially done the Cuban way, the Cuban tradition, as we do our house cigars, brings a lot of that profile that you want.
That's what we picked out. So this is right here. One of your
new generation
lines, Cigar Paradise, new generation lines, Maduro wrapper, Nicaraguan filler. And what am I going to find when I smoke this?
You're going to get both dark chocolate, raisin, a little bit of light on the leather, but I would say you're mostly going to go to a really dark chocolate, a little bit of cocoa, a little bit of coffee.
Perfect with the coffee.
Yes. But I don't know about with that coffee.
Well, I asked, and they weren't ready here yet, so I would have.
I like the coffee here, but I'm gonna get it.
I would have one here too.
Our coffee is from 5 different countries, 5 different roasted beans, closest to the Cuban bean as possible.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to give you that. I drink one double shot, and that one double shot will give me the whole day. But paired it with the cigar, it just brings out like the butteriness, the froth, and what you get from the extracted from the machine. Instead, some of the other ones are going to be more Americanos, watery, again, lighter on the flavor, but, I like to drink it black, so I like to drink as much flavor, I want as much flavor as possible.
So, Cody, one of the things I love about this particular bar is that my wife likes coming here, and it's very unusual to go to a cigar bar and all the ladies say, hey, yeah, we'd like to go too. But I think it's because, number one, it's beautiful, but number two, air handlers are awesome, and then your drinks. Like, she always gets these, espresso martinis. I get your smoky Manhattans. They're just phenomenal drinks at night, and it's got like this great vibe in here. So we'll go to dinner somewhere in St. Pete, and my wife will be cool with going to getting a cigar after. Never, ever is she cool with me getting a cigar after sitting with me, except for a place like this. So I think you're doing a great job.
That took a long time for us to go into that direction, because that is the biggest thing. I mean, with it being light and bright, that really connects with a lot of no man cave. They're not going to really just cater just to one type. Because it's light and bright, you at least get something in here. The air handlers, because we have an HVAC, our HVAC system automatically should take everything in, but we also brought in smoke meters as well. Again, never coded for it, but we wanted to make sure that we're going to be the cleanest place, because the biggest turnoff is people hate to smell scent, but women hate to smell cigars, most of them. But now you have a lot of influencers that are coming into the world and the realm, and it also is helping the world. It's helping this industry out a lot. But for the drinks, I mean, I know what we're trying to head towards, because yes, what we're trying to execute is always going to be before dinner and after dinner. So now I'm putting together a menu for aperitifs. So something that you're going to want to drink before you go to dinner. And then when you get out of dinner, you're going to have more of a dessert menu for dinner drinks. As well, we partnered with 400 for charcuterie boards, and something they're going to bring over here. So I'm trying to.
So I've never had food. Is this something new for you guys?
It's just starting. It's going to be just starting probably about next week or two. We're just setting up the printers. And then after that, they're going to be bringing over the food from 400. It's going to be more about, we're not upcharging, it's going to be an amenity that we're going to be able to bring to our staff, to all of our guests and members.
So have you ever, sorry, Joe.
No, that's fine.
I'm getting so interested because, so this is Gloucester, Massachusetts, right? That's where Joe and I grew up. And it's a beautiful, beautiful fishing town. and it's got a lot of similarities to St. Petersburg, Treasure Island. You know that because your other locations in Madeira Beach, but these people would probably call it Treasure Island. They know Treasure Island and John's Pass. So that's where I actually first started going having cigars. I had a house in Treasure Island, and
when you came here.
When I came here,
You smoked the cigars for a while.
Unfortunately, too young. But your Treasure Island one, your John's Pass one, has a total different feel than this. It's outdoors. How do you describe that feel?
Well, that one was, that was the first branch because the owners came from Cuba in 2007. In 2009, when they became, I think 2008 they became citizens. 2009 was when they were able to open that first little shop, and so that's when he did. Those were all his hand rolls too. So he's probably about over 100. He went down. He used to have 200 different blends. Now it's down to 100. Everything's made here in the U.S. We have a factory in similar, so they're made in made on premises. Plus, usually we have a cigar roller at every one of our spots that are
The way you describe this is spot on. I'd like to compliment you on the draw. Is perfect draw. The structure fantastic. I get a little bit of definitely hit the chocolates or the coffee notes, and a little bit of a little spice on the end too. Yeah, really nice. We try to go to cigar bars. We do podcasts at a lot of different cigar bars. And one thing that is a recurring theme for us, we've never met a bad guy at a cigar bar. Like, what do you think it is about cigars that bring people together?
I think it's always going to be the atmosphere, social. You're never going. When you go to a cigar, I feel like you're going out for a different kind of feeling. Like if you go to a bar, you're going to get drunk. You're going for a different experience. If you go to a cigar bar, you're going to enjoy, going for the little things. You're going to have a bourbon that you're going to sip on, so you're going to want to pay for a little bit extra. You're going to want to find a cigar that you've been looking for and looking for that treasure. Oh, do they have the allocated items that I've never had before? I want to try something new. Are they local? And I think that kind of the privacy as well. Nobody gets into your business. I feel like that's why you don't have that same hostility as you would at other bars and other places. Club, exactly.
Right. I tell you, so I've seen it. We were here. Was it 2 years ago or last year? I'm not sure, but anyway, the first time I came here, you had the whole thing with the box and the smoke.
Yeah. The old fashioned.
Can you describe? Because a lot of people back home probably have not experienced something like that. Have you experienced it? Can you explain what you do?
Yeah.
With some of the specialty cocktails.
Yeah. So again, we want to make it one of a kind. Everybody has a lot of these things. It's very hard to be one of a kind in a world that is has already made everything. But instead, you can take that recipe and you can tweak it and make it your own. So what we partnered with Let It Be Smoked. They're custom boxes that are for smoking cocktails. So we have our brand located on it. So when it comes to the table, if they look below it, it has a piece of our tobacco, 2 pieces of our tobacco, and we fuse that with a bourbon glazed wood chips, as well as our tobacco, again, chopped very finely, and put into the smoker while we smoke it. So you're getting a little bit more of that tobacco with the bourbon at the same time.
Absolutely. I know it's only 10 a.m., 11 a.m., but if you got one of those, I would love to have one.
Yeah, I'd like to present it.
It's purely for the people.
Of course.
Purely for the people.
This is only for you.
I will have one.
Not for us.
Yeah. I don't like to drink, but for the people out there.
Yeah,
I'll make it fun too. I'm gonna bring out 3 smoked old fashions. They're gonna be different because I have a tequila smoked old fashioned, I have a rum smoked old fashioned, and I have our traditional bourbon with our bourbon barrel.
You're blowing my mind. I love tequila's been like the new thing.
I switched around with the gin. I have a gin old fashioned. I'm just putting that out there just because we wanted to be a place that had every old fashioned, but the old fashioned is a little different because it has a little bit of grapefruit into it.
Yeah.
Grapefruit bitters, but it also has a little bit of that elderflower. But I also do it with
is that the gin one or the tequila?
The gin one. But the gin one, I did it with a bourbon. It is a rabbit hole gin that's in the bourbon casks. So you're getting that bourbon
Let's
esque.
go.
So,
Oh my God.
I'll bring out all 4 of them.
This is cutting edge. I mean, I've had plenty of smoky old fashions, and when your box came out, it was the first time that I've seen one come out in a box.
Yeah.
But I've seen people trying to do that now. But now you're talking about tequilas and gins.
Yeah.
That's incredible, man. I'd love to try one.
Very
Let
special
me get
stuff.
this.
Awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Like I said, never met a bad guy in a cigar bar.
Never met a bad guy in a cigar bar.
Yeah. This is unbelievable. So this is one of my favorite. This is up there with, you know, but see the thing about Burn in Naples is they have the music so loud you can't really have a conversation.
It's not what a cigar bar is about. A cigar bar is about is a relaxing conversation. So all the tension in a normal bar, where it's like, you know, like a meat market, you know, the guys are going in looking for the girls and all that. That kind of goes away with these cigar bars because the guys are actually there, not actually looking to hook up or anything. They're looking to actually have like an hour or two and have a conversation like this. So it takes the tension way down. And I actually think the women like that when they get comfortable. They're not getting hit on. They're actually enjoying it too. And it's just a different attitude. But wanted to talk about Gloucester for a sec because you people from Gloucester that haven't been to St. Pete, you got to see it. It's really unique because they have all this grass and land. You got all the buildings, right? And all the shops and restaurants. And it feels like a little European city almost because you can walk around outside and go to these little restaurants. But then you have all this green-like area. I'm not even sure. I'm not using the right words, but like out here, that field is actually what would you call it? Common area?
Yeah, it's a common area, a little park.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't. It's owned by the city, so I don't see them ever developing it to be any more than just that park because that's where the Christmas area, the Christmas trees, and all the kind of festivals. That's where they start, like the food and wine and everything. They lost that, then that'd be hard. Where were they located?
So Joe and I woke up this morning and we walked down to like a farmer's market. We met Meg Montanino. We walked through and we had empanadas and we had all this food. But really it's taken me a long time to understand this. It's these fields, these common areas, these parks that are all lined up on the water. And the fact that you have this cool little city with all these restaurants, and then you can walk by all this green and trees and the water's right there. People from Gloucester would freaking love that if they haven't been here.
No, it's a lot of similarities to Gloucester. It's a little bit more urban, I would say, but it has the boating. Obviously, there's some. What do you call that peninsula that goes up with Dock Forge?
That's the pier.
Yeah,
they're the pier.
Pier is incredible.
Just renovated too. That was just torn down. That was torn down in 2018 or 2016, and it took a long time for it to be redone.
You get a couple of restaurants
Yeah.
up there. Dock Forge is awesome. There's live music, but also you go to the end of the pier.
Tiki and
Yeah.
Yeah, they have music out there and stuff like that. It's pretty special. It's very special. This is one of my favorite cities in Florida. Yeah, very similar to Del Rey vibe I get from St. Pete. And another part that I would be remiss if I didn't speak to is that you can come here, stay at a hotel down here, Airbnb or whatever, and you do not need a car.
Yeah.
This is such a walkable city that I really love that about it as well.
So these people that we grew up with, a lot of fishermen, and when they would tell me about coming to Florida, they would talk about Treasure Island, you know, that type of area. They would talk about, starts with an O. I'll think about it in a minute, but all these different areas. And this is more sophisticated. Like this little city is just.
This isn't Santa Maria. Anna Maria.
Yeah.
This is not Anna Maria.
Yeah, no. It's really got
Anna Maria's
good
a little-
restaurants. You know, we have a guy come in later to talk about Urban Stillhouse, some of the Horse Soldier, you know, some of the bourbon. But
great story.
yeah, awesome place. And I just want to share it with all these people in Gloucester that maybe haven't had a chance to come to St. Pete.
What are some of your favorite cigar brands?
Well, I mean, besides ours, because it's so unique. It's not as aged as these other names, the big brands. The big brands are aged for at least 2 years plus. And the owner is a fourth generation master worker, so that's 200 years in his family that he has his recipe a lot of these recipes are from just his taking the time, because he was also at that time too was told that they didn't want him into into the cigar world. So yeah, in Cuba so they said, oh, you know, if you're going to be a roller, it isn't, you know, you could be better, you could do something better, you can make more money. So he was put into the university, but he then after that seeked out to be the master blender, to go to school to be the master roller, and his grandfather told them no, he had ties to everybody, said don't do it, don't let him in there. So he finally found a way around it, and that's how he made his blends. So that's why I respect the story. The story takes the time for you to go into that cigar or to a spirit, and that makes you know that you're going into something special. So his blend is what I start with first, and then I will always give the most respect to every brand that's out there, because they still innovated. They've done so much. But I'm always going to be a Toro Fuente fan. You know, you can never start with your first cigar. It was probably a short story.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, me too. Boxes of them.
Yeah.
Chateau Fuentes, you know, those little Rothschilds they had.
Exactly.
You know,
Lately, Rosados have been awesome.
I know, but when we were kids, we used to buy those boxes.
Fonseca's
You were a Fonseca guy. I used to buy those boxes. I think it was 50 of the punch Rothschilds in the navy blue box. Lift up the lid. I smoked. Yeah.
I got to give the most credit to the people that came out of the box most with the infused cigars, like the acid.
You like those?
The reason I like it because they're so different. How they came around the science to say, I'm going to infuse this tobacco and change this profile to kind of get more people into that, you know, because that's what I usually tell people that they're not smokers, to start with something infused or a sweet tip, and then start walking your way through, because you can't
start with a
before you're right.
You're not starting
So
with
it's funny you say that. I think acid cigars are probably had the name of bringing the most people into cigars. So like, if you have never smoked a cigar, and you go to any cigar shop, right?
Or Swisher Sweet.
No. You would never.
When we were kids, right?
I'm not a social sweet. That was my first cigar.
Right?
But if you
backwards.
Absolutely for us, but if someone walks in a cigar shop, right, they're gonna, an acid would be, and they've never smoked a cigar before. That thing, because it's kind of has a good taste in it.
Vanilla acid or something like that.
It doesn't have the harsh beginning.
The names bring you to it. I mean, the acid brings you to look at what does it mean, and then you got the Tatianas, which it gives you what you're saying that you want after dinner. This is a cappuccino. Yeah. This is a French vanilla. So you're going into it already expecting what it already giving you the idea.
And it doesn't freak you out. Like
exactly.
Because when you take if you've been smoking a long time, you expect to feel the smoke. Mm-hmm. But if you haven't before, and you get some coffee or some type of other taste to it, people all of a sudden will like it, and they transition into cigar smoking.
And you always got to make sure we tell them that, because they're just starting to smoke, don't inhale. This is the worst day of your life if you inhale.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to usually tell them. I said, when's the last? Like, I don't like smoking. I said, when did you have the cigar? Why did you have this cigar? Did you inhale? That's why you didn't do it correctly. It's just, I feel like, the art of cigars is the art of wine. Because you have those sommeliers that are able to, those blenders as well that smoke, those real cigar connoisseurs that smokes to that, so many of them that can find every little taste that you're looking for. Because sometimes you go into it and you're like smoking, you're like, what's it gonna taste? Blueberries, and you're like, I don't taste anything. I don't get that flavor out of it. Where are they finding this? And some people have that really good taste buds, and that or be able, we have 2,000 taste buds. Some people really can use every one of the taste buds. Some people can't. So
I can't, but only on burgers. Right? Man, I can eat every burger you can ever imagine.
Chicken sandwich.
But
You can dissect that chicken sandwich like nobody can dissect a chicken sandwich.
Nobody.
No, you don't want to start off your buddy with a Maduro, but it's funny. Like when I started out smoking, it was always your Connecticut wrapper.
And now you go to Maduro every time.
Every time. I don't enjoy it as much. But I don't. My favorite blends are Nicaraguan filler Maduro cigars. And I feel like you get more. And it doesn't, just because it's a Maduro doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be harsh. Like I think people think it's going to be harsh. It may be a little bit stronger, but also a lot of Maduro cigars can have a sweetness to it. You know, and that's what I enjoy. You know, like those chocolatey tones, something goes with the coffee. You know, but yeah.
So, do you do a lot of podcasts, Joe, at cigar places? Like, are you smoke?
Yeah, we do.
You do?
Yeah, well, see, I'm from Massachusetts, so there's not many to go to. So whenever we're out, you know, we've done a bunch in Naples. We did one in, oh God, Sarasota. What's the Maduro Cigar Bar? What was that? I think it was McCarthy. Yeah, no.
So you're true you're getting rid of McCarthy and picking me up full time? Is that what's going on?
By the way, happy birthday, Chris McCarthy. It's our buddy's.
Oh, it's Chris's birthday.
It's his birthday, that's right. Yeah.
I heard you guys did some survey with the 50 and under crowd and they wanted more hair. That's what happened, right? And so they picked me up.
No, we needed to pick up the hair.
Yeah, that's what got. I came up big on the survey. Sorry, Chris.
So what are some of your favorite pairings, cigars and drinks?
So the first pairing would always be with our smoked old-fashioned cigar with our Maker's Mark pairing. The reason why is because we got to design that recipe for Maker's Mark. So I got to put the exact recipe you need, and then we sat down what was going to pair with that old-fashioned cigar. So we got to sit down how many steeds of this oak to this oak to this oak to make it our own personal. So that is my favorite because our smoked old-fashioned cigar is our cigar that is aged for over a year. It's smoked in those boxes that we get those when the drinks come out.
Yeah.
That's what we put 25 cigars in there, and I smoke them every week with the bourbon and the bourbon glazed wood chips and the tobacco with the spray of our old-fashioned recipe on top of it. So it's bourbon infused. And
I had no idea what effort goes into that.
That one took a long time. That one when we came out with that, it was probably the best results that we could ask for. But it takes time. Once a week, we have to take them down there in Ziploc bags because put the box into a Ziploc bag to capture every bit of the smoke. And every week we rotate them. There were 6 months that gets sprayed and seasoned and smoked every week.
Wow. And here I am just thinking, they smoke something in there, and I didn't know the effort that goes into that.
Besides that, you got to be in your kind of love of like what you're looking for that day. Because I love bourbon, but I'm a tequila person as well. So if I want something that is, if I drink a Connecticut shade, I'm going to drink a Reposado tequila. If I want something spicy, you got to play off that kind of mild. If I go to Zen Maduro, it's sometimes a little bit more medium, a little full, a lot more flavor. I want something that is going towards a sweeter rum. Just kind of counteract it with it. And I'm a Zacapa fan, so I'll go to a 23 or the XL if I'm going to just sit there and relax.
This dude knows what he's talking about. You can tell just from the way you're talking. I've been around cigars and booze my whole life, and you know the taste, which that's impressive. To a guy like me.
To be successful in this business, you can't just pull someone off the street. It's going to be someone that's passionate about both things. The service industry, you got to check that box. Hospitality is very important. Knowing alcohol, drinks, and stuff like that, and also knowing cigars.
And also thinking out of the box. I love the world, I love the trade, but then I think of myself as the opposite person when I'm coming into a place, and I say to myself, the first time I'm coming in here, what do I want out of this? And that's what you got to think, because if I'm that person that's thinking I want the highest standards, so that means I'm going to keep going to the highest, and that means I'm never going to let anybody down, because when I'm walking into a place, I want selection. I want on both ends. I want to go into it, I want to, they're going to have a good selection of cigars. I got to turn around to the other, they have a good selection of booze. That isn't cheap to be able to have, but you've got to be able to, you got to spend money to make money in that sense. Because if you're sitting there, I understand if you say, I have 500 cigars, okay, yeah, that's different than saying, but if you only have like 15 drinks or 15 bottles, then you throw me off because there's not enough for me to be able to compare it.
Exactly what I want. Right?
At least throw me in that sale, put me into a realm of like, if you tell me like this is your favorite cigar and I don't have it, I'll put you in another cigar, and I'll put you in the same similar complexity, but I don't want to take away from that, giving the respect to that person, to that brand that had that cigar. That it sold out because that cigar is so sought after. But you have another cigars there that collaborated with that same person. So like my father collaborated with. Just so many people have collaborated now that they're starting to push that out more, and it's become a lot.
That's one of your favorites, right? My father's.
Yeah, I like that. I'm a big fan.
I'm a Padron guy. I'm always loved the Padron.
So we're going to the Padron factory in February 18th.
No way.
Yeah, we're going to walk the fields and go through the whole factory tour.
You have a nice selection of Padrons. I love Padrons, but I wanted to smoke the local one that you guys have grown here, and it's wonderful. But I would have chose Padron right off the bat if I was coming in. But because of today's podcast, I wanted to try one of yours.
Yesterday we went to the cathedral.
Yep.
Carlos Fuente.
Yep.
That's a very nice spot as well. It's very unique. And the guy there, very knowledgeable, didn't have what I would normally smoke. And see, I think that for a cigar smoker, a novice cigar smoker, it's very important, I think, when you go outside of your hometown cigar shop, to ask the people in this cigar shop, tell them what you like, try something new, because you may discover something.
Oh, you gotta see these. I'm gonna get out of the way.
We're starting to get out of that.
This is important.
We want to go right in front of the camera.
I'll get out, you guys.
Yeah. I know you're right here.
Our smoked old fashions.
I'll hold that up just a little higher. Oh, wow. Look at that. Holy mackerel. See, now, for the people that can't see, this is your tobacco in the bottom. And you want to describe it?
Yeah, we have our rum old fashioned here, Diplomatico rum. Kind of classic quick form old fashioned. This one's a little different. It is a barrel aged bespoke gin, elderflower, and hot grapefruit bitters.
Wow.
This is the tequila, my fault.
That's
So this is smoked tequila. This is mezcal and Terramana agave.
And this is gin, and is that color from the smoke? Because it's not exactly.
No, it is a barrel aged gin.
Wow.
And like barrel aged.
And what kind of, so the fruit is
Dehydrated grapefruit. Okay, and then we have our biggest seller, the cigar smoked old fashioned, which we use our Knob Creek Barrel Select, and then our rum old fashioned with the Diplomatico Reserve.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. Hold on one second. I just want to show them the box. You can see is that resin in the bottom?
Yeah, they're getting smoked all day.
This is just, you can see in the bottom, they're getting smoked in there, and there's like the resin and the residue from the cigar. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, let me get in here.
When you saw that tobacco at the very bottom, that tobacco is taken. It's called our limited cigar. That is taken when it gets melted early enough that we put that inside the filler to give it a smoky taste. Or that's only one certain cigar that we only can able to make usually 20 to 30, maybe every 3 months. So they're very limited, and they have so much flavor, but they don't get smoked. But because that's smoked inside of it instead of smoked on the outside. So all of them are so different because of that. We went outside the box.
All right. This one. I didn't hear everything. What are we looking at here?
So you're looking at Reposado, so it's Terramana Reposado with a Casamigos mezcal. So you gotta get that smokiness to it. Chocolate bitters and.
So this is the first time for me. Like I would have never thought of doing a smoky drink like this. It's always been the Manhattans, old fashions. I'm sorry, the old fashions that I would get smoky in a water.
This is gonna change. This is gonna
Change my life.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need another change. Man. I'm barely surviving here. Good. That's shocking. That's absolutely shocking. I'm gonna try that.
I'm gonna
Please
try.
try that. Please, that's shocking.
Look at the presentation.
By the way, my wife would love this. The tequila too. It doesn't have any kick to it at all. I don't even know how to describe it.
Oh wow! You get the orange peel.
It's
You
shocking.
hold it up to your nose, you get the orange peel.
Dude, I'm sold.
You had to put the lime on it because you can never keep the lime out of the tequila in a sense. Even though
Just lime, just smelling.
That's shocking to me. So that one's mine.
That's
I don't know if I could go on, man.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's like a sweetness to it.
Yeah, it is no like kick, like a normal tequila kick. It's all burnt out of it or something. I don't know.
That's perfect sipping and to enjoy,
With the cigar.
savor and to enjoy.
So it took me a long time to be able to create a full beverage list to make sure that I'm catering to the box for something different. So I've made. We started. I mean, like with a short list with our original shirts.
They did. Wow, they did. It's beautiful. It's a lot lighter, obviously, than these, other old fashions that you would see.
You know, and then you let it sit there a little bit and open up with that cube and stuff. All right.
I tell you, when I come here now, this is what I'm drinking.
That's
I told you, this is what I'm drinking.
I'm kind of nervous to drink the other ones because that was so good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm a gin drinker,
Wow.
so I'm interested to smoke. I'm interested to try this.
And what would you call this? What's the name that you guys have?
This one is a gin smoke old fashioned. So,
Gin smoke old fashioned.
Yeah. So but the main liquor in it is rabbit hole gin. That is in a bourbon cask. So that's why you're getting a lot of bourbon. A little bit of
The
that
little
bourbon.
color. See the color there.
Yeah,
it's
lighter
not
than-
exactly clear. It's
Like a regular gin would be.
right. Below that grapefruit.
So, Chris, you missed the best Good Morning Gloucester. This is phenomenal. I love it. I'm not a gin guy at all.
No, Derek, this is great. This is you really got something here, man. You really got something.
That was, I can't take full credit on that drink alone because that drink was a collaboration with one of our head bartenders because that was, I wanted to have flavor in every one. And gin, I didn't think of gin being in that realm of being able to execute it properly.
Yeah.
So we played around with it, came out, and then Brownwood came in. I said, this is the perfect gin. Let's see how we can make this.
The bourbon cask. It's like that's special. I'll tell you, if you're in the what do you call it? This is the southwest part. What do you call it?
I would say the downtown St. Pete area.
Downtown St. Pete area. You have to come here. This is a very special spot. All right, we're gonna go to the next one.
By the way, I want to say that. So my wife's always jealous when I'm drinking these old fashions because she sees the presentation and she almost wants like an after dinner drink like that, but it's too strong for her. She really doesn't love it. She's gonna love this. She's gonna love this tequila drink or this gin drink. Absolutely.
Yeah. I've become a gin drinker the last couple of years, especially in the summer. All right, so this is the old fashioned. What is the difference between these two now?
So one's rum, and one is so you have the rum, the Reserva. It's a Diplomatic Reserva, and then you have one that's going to be our barrel straight, not Creek. So it's our barrel.
This guy's phenomenal.
That's the bourbon right there, and that's the rum.
Okay. But this is what I would normally have when I come here. Depending on the type of bourbon.
120 proof.
It's fantastic, and I'm used to that.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. But if I came here,
I'm in this.
I'm going outside.
But I want to try the rum too.
So try this, and it's phenomenal. But like this is so unique that I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's very unique, and it's. Man. Yeah, so I. That's a little like a cinnamon or something that is a little different. I was gonna say I had this last night, but I didn't. This one is different than what I had last night. It has more of a cinnamon taste to it in the end. I don't know.
So our original recipe is always going to be our barrel, so 120 proof Knob Creek. So we choose our barrels. Probably this is our third barrel. And we try to go for more cinnamon notes. We try to go for the dark chocolates. But we also go for the highest proof. So usually they have to always be at a 120 level for Knob Creek. So we usually pick the ones at 130. So, and then they have to dilute them down to 120, but we still want that same flavor. So that's what.
And I'm not the type of guy that understands like nutty, cinnamon, all that. But I can tell you when I taste that, it's more cinnamon than I've tasted in other ones that like where I went to dinner last night. I had
We also do we do air gusted butters. We do 3 air gusted bitters plus 3 of the orange bitters too. So 3 shots of each other. So I mean, it's going to give you a little bit more of that better flavor, better quality.
Here's the ball.
Boy, it's early to be drinking like this.
It's never too early.
It's never too early, huh?
That's not
What time zone is Gloucester? We're in the same time zone because this is early.
Again, very nice. Perfect rum drink. A little sweetness there.
Never had one of these either.
I'll tell you, these two right here, so fantastic. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
But I would totally choose
I would
the
go to
tequila,
those.
and then gin, and then I would go with and then I would go to rum. Like, so in my world, it's lined up exactly like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We really
You think everybody saw the box opening and all that? Because that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
they definitely.
When you come in here and you order that and like you're not expecting it, people freak because it's so cool.
Well, if they didn't see it just now, it doesn't go away. We have, people will be able to share it. People will be able to see it going forward as well. So there's that. Thank you so much. I have a question for you now. We're going to switch it up a little bit from cigars and booze to a little bit of football.
Okay.
And the only reason I have one question because we had this discussion last night, and I was actually blown away by the response of a person from Tampa. That's the person from Boston. Now, Robert Kraft, owner of the Patriots, said 2 days ago, we're going to do everything we can to welcome Tom Brady to sign a one-day contract so he can retire as a Patriot. And this woman thought it was absolutely preposterous.
Yeah.
And as a Boston,
You were offended.
I wasn't necessarily offended, but I was like, where do you come from?
I took
with
her
that
side.
with that line of reasoning. And so I'm curious if that is my jadedness as a Patriots fan, or is there something to he had 18 years with the Patriots and 2 with Tampa Bay, and she wants to claim him. And I'm like, I think it makes all the sense in the world for him to retire as a Patriot. So do you think that it's kind of silly to think do you think that the Boston fans are spoiled to think that's a no-brainer?
So I think that's a hard one because with that dynamic, when he came down here because of Bill Belichick, and then with how they wouldn't let him sign, it's kind of bittersweet at the very end because it's kind of like saying, hey, I really, that I'm the one that made the Patriots.
I'm the guy.
I'm the guy, and I came down here and I won it for the Bucs. I haven't won it.
I proved
it was me, and I showed that good coaching is there, but it also takes the skill.
Yeah.
If you want me back for that one day, but he'll never be away from the Patriots. He's always going to be tied with them. So, I mean, I would think that I would leave where I'm at and not be where I'm at.
So
that's
listen,
where
I love
Tampa. That's where I'm at. That's where we're at. This is where I did my career. I'll be here.
I was scared that you might sell out because, that's a tough question, right? Because you don't want to piss all these Boston people off. But I'm from Boston. I've been living in Dallas and now here in Florida for too long, 15 years. But I'll tell you, I think a lot of us are kind of almost tired of the story. It's like he retired twice. That's all. We went through all that, and it's kind of like to hear you guys say that you want him for a day to bring it back. And I'm a huge Brady fan because he, not only did he do that for me when I was in New England, he did it when I moved here. I got to follow him. But the story's getting kind of old, and it's like he retired
about the retiring part?
Yeah, it's like you want to retire a third time, come back and have one day. And, we're tired of talking about it.
Yeah, well, they always make a big deal of when you go into the Hall of Fame as a baseball player, like what baseball cap are you going to wear? If you were a baseball player for the Red Sox for 13 years and then they didn't sign you because you're old and some other team was going to overpay for you for a couple of years, and so you go and play there. But then when you retire, it's a on paper thing just to feel good about where you have to start. I mean, it doesn't have to be about Belichick necessarily. Robert Kraft took a chance on him. You know, he had a lot of success, and I think the fans truly appreciate it. I think the Boston media. See, I don't think it was Belichick that drove him on. I think it was the Boston sports media who are really poisonous and always go to the negative because they're too lazy to talk about real sports. They just want to create controversy. Yeah. And I think he's tired of that. And then when I came down here a couple of years ago, and you see entire buildings painted with his likeness, I'm like, he never had that in Boston. Of all those years, all those Super Bowl, and literally Super Bowl week in Boston after like the 6th Super Bowl, like it wasn't even like people didn't even decorate their shop set like or anything. It was just another expected experience.
Exactly.
You know.
That's true, and I mean that brings you out of even going with what you said. I mean, you have the true players, and then you have the players, just like you said, that are going to put on the baseball cap because they told him to put it on and he sold out, and they paid me extra money to put on a Boston hat because they told me to wear Boston. But really, why wouldn't I wear the hat that started me all out? But am I also going to say, why am I going to go out in the hat that basically sealed my legacy even more to show me that I could. Oh yeah, I knew I was the best, but now you're like went to another level. Like he was great, but now it's called the GOAT. I mean, like it's funny to say.
It wasn't just Boston that did it for him. You know, Tampa helped him get over that edge with that. It sounds weird, but it did.
He solidified it beyond already being solidified. If that's possible, because going to 10 Super Bowls, winning 7 of them.
I think you took it too much to heart. I actually feel like the ladies probably just tired of hearing about Brady coming back, leaving, coming back, and all that. I mean, everything's about Brady recently. So some people are just tired of it. They don't want to see it again, and like him to go back. But I know it hurt. It hurt him. I was there. It hurt him.
I mean, he owes the fans of Boston nothing. He doesn't owe anybody. That guy he took pay cuts to stay there. So I wouldn't move on from that, but I just thought that was an interesting take from. I just thought it was a complete no-brainer that he was going to go into the Hall of Fame as a Patriot.
It blew you away. I saw your face when she said, "That's ridiculous."
Who is this?
Why would you do that one day? Yeah, but I think it's because that the lady's probably not tremendously into football. She's just like probably tired of hearing about Brady retiring, coming back. I mean, it's been a lot about him.
And I think at that point with the Hall of Fame, just on my last note of that is that I think when you go to the Hall of Fame, it isn't just. It may have been the last team that got you, or the last team that maybe sealed it for you, but really the Hall of Fame is to show your whole career base. And your whole career base is going to show that he was 15 years with the Patriots, and then he was with here and with here, and he was at Michigan. He wasn't that great of a football player for Michigan, but look what he became because he had that. So I think he has a whole career, not just this is your Patriots deserve to put him in there. I think it's the Hall of Fame is for the Hall of Fame.
So Kansas City is a 2-point favorite. Mahomes, injured, but obviously played well enough to win last week against a very good. Well, a team hobbled with a fourth string quarterback. But who do you like in that game? Kansas City +2. Are you laying the points? You taking Kansas City?
I'm the underdog. I'd rather take the Eagles. I'd like to see the Eagles win. I'd like to see the Eagles take it.
Where are you from?
I'm from Ocala, Florida.
Get out of here, Ocala guy.
So I lived up north for a while in Connecticut and Jersey because I ran some bars up there. And no matter what, I was a Patriots fan too. But I'd have to say I always like to root for the underdogs. None of them have ties to it, and I think Mahomes is so overpaid and thinks he is the Brady when he hasn't deserved it yet. So
Thank you. This is my guy. This is my guy. He's won exactly one Super Bowl, and they said they're anointing him like the best ever. I'm like, how can you even put him in the? I mean, he's gifted. The tip of the cap. He does amazing things in the field, but he also has had a tremendous cast of characters around him. Like Brady did not have. Brady only a couple times had like players like Randy Moss, like for a year or two. And he had Gronk, obviously, the best ever.
Sick.
But other than that, over all those years, he had a middling core of receivers and did it.
Gronk, if you're watching, I want to party with you, pal. Yeah, he's a man.
I have not.
though, I really enjoy that one in Madeira Beach. I enjoy sitting out there. It gives me a King Corona type feel.
No, we're back.
Yeah, we're back now.
Yeah, it'll be probably about 10 seconds and it'll go back. Thank you, though.
So King Corona's been one of his favorite when he would come visit me.
My bachelor party.
Yeah, that's right. We went to Colombia, then went to for lunch, and then we went to King Corona. He loves sitting outside and watching people.
Yeah.
And your location at John's Pass has an awesome feel. If you just, kind of want to sit outside and people watch, and they got the bar right next door, the TV's going. I would love going there, having coffee and a cigar in the morning.
Yeah, and that bar too, that is owned by the owners as well. Matt Club.
I knew that.
So that is a smoking establishment as well. So you can bring your cigar into that bar and still smoke.
I had friends that wanted to watch a Pats game, and they were shocked when I went and brought them there. We wound up getting cigars, and then we walked right next door, which is literally connected, in an open air, and grabbing cigars, drinks, and watching the Pats game right in there. They were freaking out. They loved it.
So okay, we're going to go back to a little bit of football.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is skipping the Pro Bowl to play in the at golf at Pebble Beach. And that, what does that say? Does that say Josh Allen doesn't care so much about the Pro Bowl, or is the Pro Bowl lame? He doesn't want to get hurt. What are your feelings about that? That used to be guys used to that's a big honor to play in the Pro Bowl.
So is that like an FU to the people that voted for you? Or what is that? Because don't you get voted in the Pro Bowl by?
Yes.
So that kind of sucks, you've been all these people step up and choose you. And by the way, I'm not a huge football guy either, but I like to think of myself as a people person. And what the fuck? You just all of a sudden all these people vote you in somewhere, and you say, hey, I'm going to play golf.
And I kind of. The Pro Bowl is out of all of the major league, games. The Pro Bowl is kind of a joke because they're not hitting hard or anything like that. It's not like a real game.
But if the fans vote you in, I don't give a shit if it's to do anything. You should probably go do it.
I think
it's your brand. It's you. It's
You're humble to you're humble to the fans that are. You made a career out of it, but the fans are the ones that kept you. Keep inviting tickets for you.
You should get kind of trouble, I would think, about it if I was the guy that owned the team. But these are young kids too. We can't forget the fact that these are younger guys and living on top of the world, and they're awesome at what they do.
Josh Allen is the first player in the Buffalo Bills this particular year. Is the first team that has been out of all the major sports that has been in one of our division, the Boston division, that I actually rooted for because I really like Josh Allen as a player.
So you voted for him when he's playing golf?
But I think he's a very special. I like him better than Mahomes. I like his style of play. He's an animal. He's a beast. He's an animal. I really like Josh Allen. That's just me.
I like him until he played golf. To me, that's kind of a little weird. But.
So do you live in downtown St. Pete?
I live close to downtown St. Pete.
So there's St. Pete Beach, totally different vibe.
Yes.
And Tampa, totally different.
Totally different. Totally different.
So can you guys speak a little bit to compare and contrast each area? I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah. So I live on Gandy. So I live 15 minutes away from downtown, 15 minutes away from Tampa. And then 30 minutes away from Madeira Beach, But I would say that Tampa has got the vibe of what old St. Pete used to be. Beach. Old downtown St. Pete. Because old downtown St. Pete was about culture, about finding the restaurants that were not chained. Now we're starting more craft mentality. But downtown Tampa now has kept. They're basically polishing everything. They're starting to. Instead of just being the north of Tampa was the good, and the south was starting to be now they're starting to rebuild everything.
Armature Works, he's talking about. I took Riverwalk yesterday. Riverwalk.
Yeah.
I mean, the Wharf's Landing. I mean, that has a lot of restaurants on it.
Yeah.
That is, if you're a foodie, that's where you want to go. I mean, I feel like that's the higher dining experience. And that's really kind of what I kind of look forward towards. And then
the steel box. You remember the steel box? Yeah.
So I grew up going to Naples every year. 2 or 3 times a year, every year going to Naples. And in the last don't know, maybe 5 to 10 years, they're doing so many interesting things. I mean, St. Pete, downtown St. Pete, as well as Tampa, that like none of that is happening back home at all. Like you think it's because there's land that was available for people to develop, or what do you think is the impetus for like all this these cool like older warehouse style buildings and new development along the banks of these rivers and really open access for a lot of public access to cool spots.
Yeah.
Let me say something because I was in Boston a long time. Went to Boston College, was around there. So like Charlestown, remember when all of a sudden we turned the Navy Yard, Charlestown Navy Yard, all of a sudden we took these old buildings and we made some cool spots there? That's what was happening in Boston when I was there. That same, I don't know what that word is, but evolution is occurring all over this place. All urban still house, right here in St. Pete, unbelievable. If you go to Tampa, you're going to Armature Works and all that. And they're having all these old buildings.
Explain what that means. You know, it's like these old warehouses, old like auto parts or something. I don't know what was it, but these architects are coming in and they're building these funky spaces like indoor, outdoor, like high ceilings, really high-end, cool, funky furniture,
New stuff.
And like the decor is just there's nothing like it. Like we may have one place like Beauport Hotel, maybe Tono, but like
they're talking about Gloucester, yeah.
Gloucester,
yeah.
but like they're doing it's like funky, like but also user friendly to the public.
Yeah.
You know, it's like.
But that was happening in Boston in the 80s and 90s. So like we were opening up, and I know it goes before that too. It always happens. But the town was evolving. When Charlestown happened, that was a cool spot, close to the city. Things were happening, and it's like that is all done so much now that it's not happening anymore. But towns like this, it's happening all over the place. Yeah. So I think it's just the evolution of a city, and I think we're in this cool evolution here where that's happening. We're in the upswing, and all that stuff happening around us. It happened in Boston. I was there. It was fun, man. Yeah. All these new places. You guys have Seaport.
There's little
pockets. Seaport was like a new thing for you guys.
Still,
it's not like
this. It's not walkable like this. Yeah. Like the streets aren't shut down, kind of like almost like this place where the streets are shut down. It's more accessible.
I feel like the vibe though is from everybody from up north that moved down here. You know, you got a lot of that. So you think about how much price it was to buy that piece of land that was in Boston or in New York. They couldn't ever be in
the regulations.
Now they come down here and you're able to do these industrial brownstones and these beautiful things and looking over the water, and that's all they want. And they're bringing that same 60s vibe into it. It's funny that how everything came back in style. So everything switched around, and everybody wants these glasses that are edged in now instead of the clean lines. It's funny how and I think that I think it's due to everybody coming back down and then mixing a lot more of that Florida vibe to make the culture what it should be. Everybody. This is where the snowbirds used to come. Now this is where people are retiring to start new entities to be able to something they couldn't do before.
Right.
So
I think there's properties that were probably had run down and they were affordable, so that you weren't like say Boston, you have to pay $3 million for the property, and then you have to do a $3 million outfit. Over here, not on the water, obviously, but like you might be able to find this property for $500,000. An old abandoned warehouse, and put that money into it, exactly. and you really got something.
Exactly. And the liquor license is in that bunch, and stuff like for that reason. I mean, you're able to really create a lot more bars down and restaurants down here. Stipulations with each kind of like, say, St. Pete, Sarasota, they have a lot more, the city has a lot more hardcore structure to it, where they don't want to even bring you in. But at the same time, everybody, it's funny when the mayors and everybody get involved, and they're like, no, we want this here, Broken establishment.
Well, you got to have that kind of leadership. Yeah. It really, it's about leadership, having a good, strong chamber of commerce, and people that want to do it. Uncle Larry, thank you. I'll check it out next time I'm down there. Thank you, Pat, for putting that link up. Oh, McCarthy's with us. Tell Derek.
This one hurts.
It looks like Many weight loss is right.
Joey always uses the camera that makes me look heavier. I'm actually much lighter than I look in this film. But Larry want to know where we are. Cigar Paradise, Larry. Uncle Larry.
No, but he found it because
Oh, he
Pat
did
put
find
the-
it.
Pat put
Okay.
the link in, yeah.
And then somebody at birthdays were in here. Chris, obviously, his birthday. Talking about my weight, but what else?
That is hilarious.
We got Kathy Barlow.
Yep, Kathy Barlow, big fan of ours from
Big
upstate
fan.
New York.
Awesome.
Yep. Oh, it's Kathy's birthday as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Happy birthday. Well, Chris is the volume. Yeah, now all of a sudden he's saying the volume. Yeah. Okay, buddy. All right,
The
okay.
volume's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's all of a sudden.
And
he's
neither
like,
is the camera angle either. That sucks too. Because I look heavier than I really am.
Yeah. Oh my God. So if you had to pick one area, Tampa, downtown St. Pete, or
I think they all have the pros and cons. Like I think, like Tampa is up and coming. St. Pete, being downtown St. Pete's great, but it can you know, like it basically kicked everybody out. So it's hard to find like really, you know, for establishments, it's hard to find really good people to come here because parking's really bad, as you see, and then the housing market's too crazy. Now if you go down to the beaches in St. Pete, beautiful beaches. We're the main best beach in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, we're next to Clearwater as well. But then you got Madeira Beach, you know? Even though it is St. Pete Beach, it's still talked about. Madeira Beach is that still hidden gem where John's Pass and then Treasure Island where nobody thinks about going to anymore. But I think that's going to be the next one that's going to be kind of put on to like
the value there?
I think there's value.
Oh, yeah.
Really? That's
Absolutely.
interesting that you say that.
Absolutely.
And how far of a drive is that from here?
30 minutes. It's 11 miles away for 30 minutes.
Yeah. I
Light
like
as a
it.
light.
What I found interesting too is all these shuttles, these little boat shuttles that can get you anywhere.
Yeah, that ferry just left this morning out of St. Pete, goes to Tampa, and people will come back and forth. A lot of people from Tampa will get on that ferry in the morning, come here and spend the day here, and then go back. But everybody wants to say what's the best. There's no best. We actually are just lucky because we spend time in Tampa, we spend time in St. Pete Beach, we spend time in St. Pete. And I don't think they compete against each other. You go to different ones for different fields, you know. But if I was going to live and I could afford it, St. Pete would be where you want to live.
See, I agree with you because I like to walk in the city that you really don't even need to get in the car.
And it's not just that, guys. There's really something, and I spent time on this earlier. The fact that you get these fields, these
Open space.
This
It's called
space,
open space.
open
on the
space
waterfront.
on the waterfront with green grass
There was a
everywhere,
guy,
and trees.
a friend explained it to us earlier. There was a guy in the 20s or something that owned like all of this land, and he donated it with the stipulation that it could only be used for public access.
And that's why this is such a special place.
Yeah.
Because you can go to Tampa and do the river walk, but you're not going to see much green, not much trees. But you go here and you get a feeling of being really outdoors, but you're in the city where you can walk up and you get a European feel because everything's sitting out front and everybody's on the street having drinks and dining.
My wife, I'm surprised she hasn't made fun of me yet because it's all I ever talk about is like these cities just like this. You know, like there's a main street and there's 1,000 restaurants and bars that we can go to, outdoor dining and stuff like that. Cities like I love Del Rey. I love it here. Like I feel like this is. I don't know. I know it's become discovered, but I think a lot of people back home may not know about downtown St. Pete and how cool this spot is.
McCarthy, if I sit back like this, do I look skinny? What if I'm like way back here? This is where Joe sits.
Yeah, that's it.
I shouldn't be right up in the camera.
must be
That's
it.
the problem.
Yeah, that's right. What's your favorite pizza in town?
Yeah, Flippers, that's right on 4th. It's really good. Then there's another place that's right next to a little cigar shop that's right down the road. I think it's called. I can't think of it right now, but.
Have you ever had a pizza at the farmer's market? There's a little pizza.
No.
They say that they sell Napolitano style pizza.
I saw you eyeing that.
I did.
I saw you eyeing that.
We do pizza reviews, so
Yeah.
I'm interested. Like what's the place I have to go to?
Joe and I, we had a knish this
Yeah.
morning at a little tent, the little farmer's market down there. We had an empanada. You get some crazy.
Both off and
Phenomenal,
on.
yeah.
Both
It's
off.
fun. We woke up, walked down there, right through the tented area, farmer's market. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm easy though with that, but it's all about the dough. So like anything else, I'm not a sauce person, so I'm more towards the New York style. But you have a real good homemade sauce, but it's the real traditional Italian. Like I'm making my own pizza dough. That's really what I go on with the dough. With the cheeses, everything else is they didn't reinvent it. It's good.
The pizza in Gloucester this is why you're infatuated with it. It's the best. I mean, I freaking love going home to Gloucester. A sub, and a pizza.
It's good. It's good. But, I mean, it's not New Haven pizza.
No, but it's. I still love going home. It's the types. The Sebastians.
Connecticut, right?
Hey, Craig Kimberly, how you doing, brother? Everybody say happy birthday to Chris McCarthy right now, our buddy. I'll be seeing him in a couple days. I wish he could be here with us. But it was nice to meet you so much.
Appreciate it.
Awesome, man.
You carry the soldier horse?
Horse. I have the commander division up top, and then I carry his regular whiskey, and then I got his barrel strength, and his. They came and did an event with us.
So he's right here. Keith is right here. We're going to have him pop in.
Okay.
All right. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We really appreciate your hospitality.
Do you have a bottle of the
Come on in here, buddy.
And Jose is who introduced us to come here.
Chamber of Commerce guy?
All right.
This is Jose. Jose is the president of the Downtown
Merchant
Business Association.
Oh, very nice.
And owner of a very fine associate.
Derek.
I'm not representative, but he's representative.
Oh, he's got the nice clothes on. He's got the nice. Why don't you sit down here, buddy?
Okay.
So this is Keith Jarrett. Keith Jarrett, Gloucester resident by summer, St. Pete resident by winter.
Yes, and I love them both seasonally.
Yeah, that's the best of both worlds.
Amen.
Right?
And that's why you're here, because you love it seasonally as well.
At 100,000.
We're not going to do this in the wintertime in Alaska.
So I don't know if they don't have this in Gloucester, do they?
You can buy it through the mail, but you cannot buy it in the stores yet. But it's coming. It's coming, and hopefully soon.
You gotta go to New Hampshire.
We just partnered with Ernest Gallo, his crew, and they're working on our distribution more broadly in the whole U.S. It takes a while.
What brought you to St. Pete?
It's a long story, but basically, I ended up following a woman to Tampa. I had a daughter. The marriage didn't work out, and I needed to stay local for the weekends because I was running a company out of Boston. And so I bought a place in St. Pete because I wanted to be by the water. And it was close to the airport. And I've been here and a huge fan of St. Pete for 20 years. It's a marvelous town. Well kept secret, just like Gloucester.
And by the way, this guy knows Gloucester. He married Meg Montanino. So, I mean, we're talking about a guy who knows that. Meg, come on over. Come on over,
Show your
Meg.
face. My hat's
Come
broken.
on.
Hey, come over here and show your face.
My name is now Keith Montanino.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. That's
I
correct.
tried to get it. I tried to keep it.
Hey, just say hi, Meg. So Meg's one of our regulars that contributes during the pod. She always gives. She says hi.
Yes. Well, I'm cleaning my closet on Sunday mornings.
You also sent in the video of McCarthy on the river going by your house on the Annisquam.
Getting
Right.
stuck.
Yeah, getting stuck on the river.
Full of profanities.
Yeah.
Full of profanities. Yes.
That's
Yes.
Wow.
I
what he
caught
does.
him right at low tide. He couldn't get through. Yeah.
That's a normal day for Chris, by the way. That's
yeah.
It was
what was
our.
that, a Thursday? Was that a
Have they
Thursday?
taken away his boating license?
Privileges.
I think so, yeah. That's why I think he had to move, right? He had to get out of there,
He
right?
had to put a special flag for the other boats to stay away from him.
Yellow. Yeah.
He had a yellow
Our boat
Yellow
dock
flag
was our
with the yellow
weekend.
flag.
Our boat dock was our weekend party activity until the Corps of Engineers again replowed the channel because every other boat was getting stuck. It's always kind of fun to watch. You know?
Red.
It's like the bridge.
Yeah.
It's like cut bridge craziness. We had Annisquam River Channel craziness. Same thing.
Yeah.
We could do the same
Those
thing.
weekends.
Yes.
At
Weekends
85 to
all
90 degree July, Saturday,
Can
the stuff you see on the Annisquam, you just would not believe.
I disclose where you guys live? No, don't disclose that. All right.
You live on the Annisquam.
They live on the Annisquam. Let's disclose that.
We live in West Gloucester.
Yeah. All right, that's enough.
But
We have the
speaking-
same zip code. Though.
yeah.
So it's about 70 degrees right here in St. Pete. I hear back home. So I heard the river froze today.
No.
Unprecedented.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
River froze?
the river that runs usually does not freeze. It froze, from what we
I
understand.
think it's warmed up to -2.
Oh, dude.
Ooh.
We can't rub people's noses in too
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
I know.
Hurts,
That's
hurts.
right.
Okay.
So let's get back to Social.
Oh, yeah.
We went to your restaurant yesterday, and
Horse soldier.
Horse Soldier, there's so much story behind this. Can you give us a brief introduction to the brand
Yes.
and the restaurant?
The gentlemen who started this were somewhat memorialized by a movie called 12 Strong about a team of special ops who went into Afghanistan 2 weeks after the 9/11 on top secret. Nobody really knew about it. And one team and their backup of other what they call ODAs, which are special forces teams, in 3 months ran all the Taliban out of Afghanistan. Basically, if we just left them left alone, the war would have been over. But of course, in came the politicians, and 20 years later, we know what happened. But these guys, after they eventually retired, there was 3 from that team. They hooked up with other special forces guys looking for something to do, and they ran across a little boutique distillery in Wyoming on horseback ride, and they decided that's what they wanted to do. So they came back to St. Pete, which was one of their homes, and they started this distillery, and they ended up coming to me because I had a building that was empty with my group, and they rented it. And so we rented the building, we helped them build the restaurant, we invested in their business, and so we're partners pretty much in all that they do, but they're hugely talented. So all I can say is they're also talented distillers, so buy the products, even if you have to go online.
Yeah.
New Hampshire.
Well, the
Go to New
restaurant.
Hampshire, guys. You
the
pick it up.
Go to
and
New
bring it back to
Hampshire.
Gloucester.
Make sure to pay your taxes at toll booth when you come back, or mail them in to the new governor. Either way,
I tell
I
you,
mail them from Florida when I go.
the build out of the restaurant is pretty spectacular.
They did a tremendous job. So it's hard to describe. Come experience it for yourself.
Yeah.
The urban
You
still
gonna show
has.
some pictures on the blog so that people can see it?
Well, I can't do it if I have.
Not now. But
Yeah, no. I already posted a video on Instagram. Actually, it's going to be on the blog. We did a little video.
If they just go to the Urban Still House in St. Pete, they'll have pictures.
Yeah, and
It's
it's
pretty amazing.
spectacular.
And it's even better in person.
And you were telling us a story about they had the special room for the founders.
The team room, which is kind of their recluse.
Yeah.
So they need time. You know, these guys were operators for 20 to 30 years. Most of them in and out of the field. A lot of them had hitches with the agency or the NSA. And so they lived a life of stress and danger. And that really affects you, wears on you. And so they need distractions, and they need camaraderie.
So you were a West Point guy?
I'm a West Point guy, proud member of the class of 1970, which was back when you guys were just hitting baseballs.
Well, no, not yet. I was only 2 years old. So was it hard to get into West Point back then?
Yes, it's always hard to get into West Point, and you need an appointment, like from a senator, a congressman, president and vice president have appointments. If you're the son of a Medal of Honor winner, you get an appointment. Or if you're a super jock, sometimes they'll have appointments left over that they will allocate to. But everybody goes through the same lengthy process of emotional testing, mental testing, physical testing, and grades and background, and then they select the best candidates out of the pool. So I came from a little town in West Virginia. I probably was lucky that I didn't have a lot of competition. So by default, they let me
Yeah, being modest now. Yeah. Oh, that's a very special experience.
It's a wonderful place, and I'm a loyal supporter of the institution and my brothers who graduated with me.
Were you a bourbon drinker before this?
I grew up drinking bourbon, obviously, from that part of the world. I eventually changed to become a Scotch drinker, and now I'm back to drinking Horse Soldier.
Yeah. That's kind of a natural progression.
Right.
To Scotch anyway.
I like Scotch.
I haven't got there yet.
But this this is the best. So,
Yeah.
Horse Soldier.
So what are some of the characteristics you'll find when you drink this?
Well, if you drink too much of it, you'll get loaded. So I would advise that. It's a mild whiskey with a good flavor. It's great for mixing. Their specialty is old fashions. I'm thinking you probably had one here, but it's also good on the rocks. This is the straight. The next brand up is called the Barrel Select. If you're going to drink it just on the rocks, that's what I would recommend. This is probably $55 or $60. The next brand up is another $20, and then we have a Commander Select. It's $180 if you really are an aficionado. People, I really didn't know this until I got re-involved in bourbon. That there are bourbon clubs where they have some occasionally at the Urban Still House. You have to bring a bottle of bourbon for people to try, and the minimum retail value of that bourbon has to be $2,000. So I didn't even know you could buy $2,000 bourbons, but you can buy
Happy.
$100,000 bourbons. They have, and so it's a cult, it's a thing, and it mixes well, particularly for evening cocktails or morning cocktails.
Hey,
With cigars.
with cigars. Yeah.
With Joey and his crew.
So you might have explained this, but what's the significance of the horse soldier? Oh, wow. Look at that here, guys. Wow. Thank you. But the horse and the
Tremendous
soldier
hospitality.
that's on here, because when you go to Urban Stillhouse, they actually have this beautiful horse soldier statue.
If you go to Ground Zero,
Full-size statue.
if you go to Ground Zero, by where the World Trade Centers used to stand, you will see this exact statue right there at Ground Zero. It's representative of the team of special forces that went in because they had to ride on horses into Afghanistan because there's no way to get tanks and standard armored vehicles through that terrain. So they had a couple of guys who grew up on Kansas farms. They all got horses. They learned how to ride, and they chased the Taliban on horseback. Go see the movie 12 Strong.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth plays the captain. The real Chris Hemsworth is now one of our partners.
Really?
Meg wants me to swap this guy out with Chris.
Yeah.
Chris has turned us down.
Oh, yeah.
We're working on it.
So what are some of your favorite things to do in this area?
You say, Pete?
Yeah.
Well, this is a town just laden with good food, great music, great museums, great weather, and great water. So it's like you have an embarrassment of riches on what to do every morning when you get up.
Like Gloucester.
Gloucester in the summer
similarities.
is very similar.
Right, right.
We have from this building where we actually live in a condo on the straight upstairs. I was trying to get my personal elevator into the Cigar Bar, but they turned me down. We can walk to 5 world-class museums within 15 minutes.
Salvador
Probably
Dali.
the Dali, the Mahaffey, the Chihuly, the Raymond James, the Arts and Crafts Museum. Probably 40 restaurants, probably 10 music bar video venues, and the beach or the water for 4 miles right across the street of park and water. So, on the goal.
Professional sports close by.
You can actually walk to see the Tampa Rays.
Yeah.
It's a mile.
You ever go to Ferg's?
Ferg's is one of the most famous sports bars on earth. Yes, often before the games, after the games, and of course, right across the bridge into Tampa, you have Raymond James Stadium, where up until 2 months ago we had the GOAT, who, particularly when the GOAT came south with the Gronk, I was one of the happiest fans on earth. Because then they won the Super Bowl after being a Patriots fan, but still for 20 years.
So Derek told me this morning that they made the season ticket holders. They heard that Brady was going to retire, and they made the season ticket holders vow to get 2 years. 2 years.
Which has never happened.
2 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So we were stuck. If you wanted a season ticket last year when Brady was there, you had to buy this year's too. But so what is this one?
That's the Commander one?
I got to look at the front, yeah. Commander Select 3, yes. This is aged. They take select barrels and select brew, malt mash, and they put it and they age it for a minimum of 8 years, sometimes 12, depends on what they're doing. And of course, every year you age it, you actually lose 10 to 15% of the liquid inside of the barrel. So to get a full barrel of booze, you need to start off with like 3 barrels. And of course, there's a cost associated with that, not only in making the booze, but also in the capital associated with that. So the price goes up, I would say, exponentially with that. And that model is probably, I don't know, what, 80, 200, depends on what you get. But it's a very high quality product. There's a competing bourbon called Angel's Envy. You might have heard of that. It's because that little bit that you lose in the barrel, they call that the Angel's Envy.
Wow.
Basically, that's what the gods drink in order for you to keep the bourbon.
They take a piece.
That's where Angel's Envy. That's where the name comes from. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. There's a lot of great.
Cup of Kindness. There's a lot of history around bourbon.
Cup of kindness. What's that?
A Cup of Kindness. In the early days when this was first invented, the dark spirits, I think from Scotland, they called it a cup of kindness because back then, churches didn't approve of what you were drinking. So, can I come over and bring you a cup of kindness? Somehow that went down well with the clergy, and before you didn't know it, the cup of kindness was prolific. So that's 200-300 years ago. Okay, I can find something for you.
Have you ever done the bourbon trail?
I have not, but I have to say that we are relocating our what we call the Horse Soldier Experience in our prime distillery to Somerset, Kentucky, which is a beautiful little town about an hour south of Lexington. Lexington is really, even though Kentucky Derby is in Louisville, the horse racing capital of Kentucky is Lexington, where all the farms and all the horse farms and raising. This little town is right on the Somerset River, the Cumberland River, which is now Lake Cumberland. It's about 150 miles long, several million visitors every year. Seasonal lake, houseboats, that kind of thing. And right there, we acquired an old, downbeaten municipal golf course, and we're turning that into the Horse Soldier Farm for a massive sized distillery, enough to produce the growth and to take care of us for the next 10 years. We have a museum of special forces, a museum of bourbon, large boutique hotel, 2 or 3 little restaurants, rides for the kids, and a special paddock because this is Horse Soldier designed for all the beasts of burden that have been used historically by the armed services. Instead of going to the glue factory, they're now going to come to our paddock where they can live off the rest of their natural life and maybe have kiddie rides and petting and all the
Great
things.
story.
Yeah, so these guys are all about doing good for the world. And,
Beast of burden. Is that what you said?
Yeah, no, the
beasts of mules,
I know. I never
jackasses.
I'm a jackass, but
Some
I never knew
jackasses
what
we
beast of
put
burden.
out the pasture, but
Yeah, I love that. And the Rolling Stones song, right? Isn't there the Beast of Burden?
that's want to be a beast of burden.
Yeah,
That's
beautiful.
a tremendous destination.
So we're focusing a lot on that area. I'm helping with another group build up the real estate in that area to accommodate the crowds that will be coming in by additional restaurants and housing and places to go at night.
Well, there's not too many places around here that don't carry this.
Right.
It's been adopted like very, very well around.
We have a large military base, MacDill Air Force Base, and in Tampa, and all the guys, the SOCOM, SECCOM, all
They all know it.
Yeah.
Because they all know the partners who started. And those guys, when they first got started, would come to all the bars in all downtown. They do a little whiskey and war stories, dog and pony show. They let you taste, and they encourage you to carry their product, which everyone has. And support it. Of course, it's a good product. Anyway, Somerset is going to be probably ready in 2.5 years. It's a big project to build all that.
I'd like to go down there and cover that.
Oh, it would be fantastic. We love the coverage, and these guys would love to see it, So, going down to Somerset. I grew up in West Virginia, so it's not far away. It's like going home to me.
Do you know what? I know you told me earlier you're not big of a tech guy. But do you know any of the social media? You on Facebook and Instagram or anything like that?
These guys have. I mean, my wife would know that better, but she has knowledge of all the Facebook pages they have. They have a big presence on Facebook.
Yeah. Can you look up the Instagram page so I can share it? Thank you.
We haven't really started advertising Somerset yet because it's just getting started, and we don't want to get the cart.
Breaking news. This is what we do.
Breaking
news. Break news.
Unbelievable.
We had a groundbreaking. When they
Heard here first.
when they presented the colors, they skydived out of airplanes, carrying the flag with them. We had marching bands. We had the governor come speak, the mayor, the local congressman, Mitch McConnell's assistant came down. So it's a big deal. Everyone is very supportive of these guys because of their history and the sacrifices they made for this great country.
Absolutely.
And the stuff is really good.
And it tastes good. There we go.
Really
By the way, I made when I was making these quarter zips, Shirts Illustrated, Salem, Massachusetts had to have the USA flag on it because we're proud Americans. That's why.
Amen.
Goddamn right. Yep.
All right.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you
so
guys.
much.
I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this wonderful product.
Thank you.
You guys are welcome back to Gloucester. I mean, from Gloucester to St. Pete anytime.
Yeah.
Or in the summer, come by the dock.
We're pulling up.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
There you go. Right, so, all right, so we got the Instagram page right here. It is Horse Soldier Bourbon. It's Instagram/Horse Soldier Bourbon. There you go. If Pat Delpage is still with us, maybe she'll put a link to the Instagram page for us. Let me just put on this. Right here. Here's their page. Let me see if they have any pictures of the.
Followed by Chris Hemsworth.
Oh yeah, Chris Hemsworth. Oh, I don't see any. I wanted the restaurant.
And that's called the Urban Still House.
The Urban Still House.
Yeah,
If you're in the
Urban
St.
Still House.
If you're in the
Urban
St.
Still
If you're in the
House.
St. Pete area,
Gotta check out Urban Still House.
yeah.
By the way, the next one is
Reservations for months of that.
Somerset,
Somerset,
Kentucky.
Kentucky
All right.
for the next one. So there you go. Once again, thank you for joining us, and happy birthday to Chris McCarthy. We got one more thing we have to do. Jimmy Dalpiaz isn't with us, so I'm gonna have to do the honors here. Hold on 1 second. We gotta pan up for a second. Hold on, let me put my cigar down. This is customary. Right there, we got it. Okay, I'll put the hat this way. Makes more sense, I guess. Right there, there's the thing. Ladies and gentlemen, no piping plovers were injured in the filming of this podcast.